guys. Excuse me. Welcome back to Bunny Designs. Long time no see. Real apologies. I just got a bit down in the dumps. And I did buy these several months ago, the 2 colour books and the paints. But it still didn't kind of inspire me because I've kind of lost the left thumb and started with something called cubital carpal tunnel, which is it's a bit like your funny bone being knocked permanently. That's about all I can say. It's not nice. So I bought those, which is the Graphitint and the metallic set from Derwent, and then Wondermorphia and the Worlds Within Worlds. And I thought that would inspire me to kind of get going a bit, and it didn't really. He didn't. So I thought, well, okay. I then actually decided, because let's face it, why have we needed a diary to do things? Because we've not been doing anything. If I go out, I go to the hospital or I go to the doctor's. So I've been out about 6 times in the last year or so. So the kind of the all this exciting bullet journaling thing that I did kind of went out the window. But what I did do is I went back the other day and I was playing with the pencils, which I sharpened. This is the set of 12 metallic pencils, which Derwent have now brought out in a pen set. Let me see which I need to go that way a bit, don't I? That's what I need to do. Not quite got everything sorted. These have been sat on my desk, and I did buy the set of paintbrushes from Derwent. I bought the full set, and it's the wrong picture, but there's a 2mm, a 3mm, a 4mm, and a 10. Now I have played yesterday. I didn't want to touch them, so they're absolutely covered in dust because they've sat here waiting for me. Now, when I bought those things, they gave me the free gift of the shave and save little pot, and I think what you do with it. Now, I don't think I can do this. No, I can't. There is a little shaver blade underneath there. So, and then there's this contour thing as well for shaving and making shapes and things. And they gave me this groovy, the Groove Cube, which is charcoal, I think, and it's a sepia color. They were free gifts, which was very nice of them. And they've just been sitting collecting dust. But I did start maybe about a week ago. We've been having some renovations, so I started to make a few little lists. So I've for about a week, you see, that was October, I wrote things, and then that was March or April. So I hadn't really done much. So decided that I'd do a January one, and I've got 2 hospital appointments and the builder. Then I decide to do a bit of a squiggle, and I thought, oh, I want to colour again. So that inspired me to buy, and I made a mistake. I bought 2. I think these were £3 something. I bought some stencils. Oh, hi Jessica, welcome to Bunny Designs. Hi Linda. Hi Robin. Thank you. Sorry I've been away so long. I don't know if it was a bit of depression or such, but I just could not do anything. I just could not just do anything. And then, like I say, with losing the thumb, which I'm left-handed, so it's a bit drastic. And I can't bend the elbows. I have the hand straps, which I might have to use. And it's the first time that my nails have been anything like. But I had to buy these, which I was a bit cross about because we had to buy ourselves. And these are elbow straps, but they do tend to work. So if anybody wants to know about cubital carpal tunnel. So sorry, back to bullet journaling. So I bought these. I think they were £3 something from Amazon. So I made a mistake. I bought 2, but I'm going to put one in one thing and one in the other. I have started the Bible journaling last week to kind of really get me going again, which I wasn't. So I sent off for these for journaling, and there's 30 in the set. And now I do have a lot of problems holding things, guys, so I'm sorry. This is another reason why I didn't really want to. I can't hold anything because I drop things as well. But so I saw these and I thought, yes, I can use these for the bullet journaling when I use this pen here. Now, I've using these rotary pens for years, and now I haven't got a thumb. I can move it like this, which is really not how you want to be drawing. Hi, Katrina. Hi, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. So what I thought, so you do get a lot of these. Now, they're a bit flimsy. And then I thought, well, there is one or two. There's Hope, I think, or something on that one. And then I saw these essential stencil kits. They all came not individually wrapped, but I opened that this morning. And afterwards, I'll have to go wash my hands, guys. Remind me, because they only came yesterday, and what I've been doing is buying things and just leaving them about. So I've got these lovely Bible journal stencils, because, as I say, I kind of got a little bit rock bottom, and obviously it's always good to turn to your Bible reading, because it kind of does give you that faith. We do need something at this silly time. So I might do those on my other channel, actually. So I'll move those out the way, because obviously we're only bothered about really colouring in. One thing I have decided, though, I've found an old, well, it's not old. Goodness me. Nothing ever changes in here, does it? Bless. The other thing I bought from the Amazon thing was the Bible. I'll very quickly show you this. It was a Bible holder, but I can get all my bits and pieces in it, and I can get the Derwent watercolors. They're the ones that I use in the Bible pages, and they don't go through. And there is a video of me ironing my Bible page, not with the plastic cover I had, but you can put something under here and you can iron your Bible pages if they're a bit crinkly. I think there's two videos of me. That's it, ironing this page here, because it got a bit crinkly. And I made the mistake, if you see these are a bit dark, because here that's the graphite ink. I've only put the graphite ink back in and the Derwent watercolors, because in my other little book of watercolors, the next set of paints I had were the Derwent Inktense in my little book. And as much as I love them, if I flick too far, they actually show through just that little bit more. If you look at that page there, that's the Derwent watercolor page, watercolors. This one is the Derwent. You can just see it a bit more. So they're a lot stronger, the Inktense. So when you're doing this, it works beautifully. It shows through but never goes through. So I must try and do some more on my other channel. It's I think it's Bunny's Bible journaling, but I haven't used it for years. But this has inspired me to do a bit more. Sorry about the dogs barking. At some point we'll have an Alfie cam, because obviously Alfie's back. So this was another little. The other reason is I was asking my husband, can you go bring me such and such, because he has to do all the running about now, and he'll bring me the wrong bag. So I decided that I had to have everything in the same bag. So I do have another set of these. I'm going to, as I read and go through them and journal, I can color them in. So this one, I always said I was going to do one just for the Bible journaling. Well, that's in there now. Now I have bought, next thing I'll show you is these are Derwent water brushes. It was the full set. Now I have tried with this one and it's worked quite well. All the work you've just seen me do recently has been with this one, which is the 2mm, and it does keep fairly dry. I'm quite impressed. But as you'll see in my pencil case, I have my old favorite. And this is the original one, and it doesn't matter how dirty it looks, it's perfectly. Should have some water in it. I can't squeeze either. I think think somebody's used that for something else, but I've got about 6 of this one and I love it. It should come clean, actually. I didn't know it would do that. I don't know what's happened with that. I think my daughter must have used it. You can use it with most things. And sorry about the hands. I was hoping to paint the nails, but I can't hold anything at the minute. But this one again is just barely damp, and that's what you need for your Bible journaling. But I don't use them for that because it will crinkle your page. If you want to do Bible journaling and don't crinkle your page, but still use your Derwent watercolor paints, very, very dry. Oopsie dupsie doos. My light's gone. And it's the first time I've been dressed for months. So it's a good job I got dressed. Let me just put that out. I used to mess about with things for ages. Right, hopefully that's okay. Sorry about that, guys. Face plant. I use these little fine brushes here and a rigger. I always bang on about the riggers, and I haven't got any in this one, have I? I don't think I've got any in this one. All my riggers are normally put away. That's normally a rigger, and the beauty of that is once it's damp, you can just activate a little bit of color, and then you can work on your Bible pages, and your Bible pages will not crinkle. But I will go through that because I can't just I'm a bit nervous because I lost my confidence to do videos, so I'm a bit of a waffler, so apologies. So that's Bible journaling. So hopefully I'll be able to do a little bit of everything. My problem is I can't pick things up. So I should just get rid of that for a second. So I've tried to keep myself positive, but I don't know about anybody else. It's not worked. I have been, I've been in quite a lot of pain, and when you're in pain, you can't concentrate. So I think that's another reason that when you're doing a show and you're in pain, you just cannot, sometimes you cannot think if you would like a cup of tea or if you don't want a cup of tea. It's that bad. And I have a Bunny Disabled designs as well, which again, now I'm getting really bad. I need to do a bit more to it. So going back very quickly to the stencils, I found a Filofax, a lovely soft Filofax, but I won't ever use it. This is the Cavendish personal size. And I won't ever use it as that because I love my bullet journaling. I love my Midori. And I've got that little zippy one that my daughter threw out that does well. So these will actually fit in. So at some point, I will be making some inserts to go in here because it looks like it might hold quite a few. And I also want to put a black background on the back so we can I can see what there is. But these, obviously, the Bible journaling ones will go in on the Bible pages. And these came all individual, actually. And there were only a few pounds. That was quite impressed with that. And they were individually wrapped, which, again, is quite nice. So if you only just wanted one set, you could possibly use them for the journaling as well. And anything that has a multi-purpose is all right by me because I'm a tight Yorkshire lass. So oh, hi, Linda's working and lurking. I love that. Yes, the other years ago it used to be I'm working, and now everybody's working from home. So thanks, guys, for stopping by. I hope everybody's plodding along nicely. And I've had a lot of guilt of not making photographs when people needed me most, but I just kind of had a bit of a meltdown. And I'm not in the conservatory. I'm back in the bedroom. But I've just had the builder around today to see if he will do the attic out for me. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to get up there. I didn't tell him that. Because I crawl upstairs on my hands and knees and I have a stair lift. But my theory is that if I'm if I climb up the stairs for a few hours, it'll take me that much to recover, so then I can climb down. But anyway, so the next bit, that was the pens. Now, I did love the little one, the 2mm. I haven't played with the others, and they are lovely. But the one thing that I always loved about Derwent was that the tops went on the back of the pen, the back of the, and look, the one thing that, well, a lovely thing I loved about them, and they've done that with the new with the new ones. So I wish I'd have been about, because I just said, please don't do that, because we always like that little bit of elongation. And where the blooming neck is it? And the only other thing, and it's very rare that I actually I'll show you the biggest one. That's quite a big one, is that one. The only other one bugbear is I have a lid for this, and I put it on once and it won't focus, but there's a dip there. You can see that dip, because you can't possibly get that blooming thing in that blooming top. It's the same size top, and it will not go round. You see, it's bent. You see, it's bent all the things, look. So I very, very rarely do I complain, but when I took it off, it was bent, and they've been like that since, because I cannot for the life of me want to put the lid back on there. Actually, it is a bigger one, but you can't get it. If you get that in there, there's a ridge inside and it kinks it, so not happy about that. Oh, hi, I say to myself, apologies for apologies for names. I'm terrible for names, and I'm losing my marbles a bit as well. Oh, it's lovely to see everybody, and I'm so ashamed of myself for not being about. So yeah, it's very rare that I do actually complain, but that is a bit of a blah, 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 blah. And of course, if you're out and about with a watercolor sketchbook, that would be a lovely brush to quickly do a skyscraper and a bit of ground, and then you could pick your other brush, and when it's dried, which if you're outside in the sun wouldn't be long, and then you can do a bit of detail. So that actually would be a beautiful brush for doing a bit of landscaping. If you put the lid on, you get it dinted. There, it's not showing very much up on the black. There's a definite kink. All the ones at this side are bent, so bit of a miserable sausage, I suppose. Maybe it's because I've got nothing better to do. Now, unfortunately, I used to have a lot of complaints of noise and dropping things and banging things, and a word of warning: there will be a lot of dropping things. Oh, hi Pamela, hi Jessica, anybody else I've missed? So I'll come to that last, because when I've done that, I'll have to wash my hands. So this one, Derwent brought out the Graphitint paint set and the metallic paint set. And I'm just trying to think where they are. Quite sure where they are. I have the pencils for these, and I've made little squares like in my little book of watercolors, and that's what I've used in the Bible journaling. So I haven't used these yet, so this will be the first time I've actually opened them, and I don't think I'll be able to open them actually. There we go, that's one. So that's the metallics, and then this one, so they do look quite nice. Now when I was looking, this is the Graphitint, and I think there's a couple of videos of mine. There's a clock in here. I have a lot of trouble with books. There is the clock, the Kirby clock, which is in one of them, that one. I think I've done that one in the Graphitint. There's a video, and I will be doing that one again, that one, but using that set. And in this one, I saw one that I did the silver. These lovely greys. Oh, now let me have a look. Now this is a surprise. These are not the colours. I don't think they're the colours. Just bear with me a second. I'll get the pencils. I've had the pencils 20 years, maybe more. So I will eventually be getting around to doing a video, but I just wanted to show you what I bought. I'll just see if I can pick, because I've not been able to cook for 2 or 3 years. Hubby bought me, don't know if you can read, look at the state of my cup. Can you read I have an agar downstairs. Hubby bought me the little tiny 60 agar, which basically is the same size as an ordinary cooker in the UK. And I sit in front of it and it's lovely and warm. Pens. Now, what did I do with them? I've had the build around, so it doesn't matter how many things I get sorted. And I've just actually crunched, picked them up, and then realised hopefully Alfie will be making an appearance. I think I've put them very handy and they're lost. I do have this is another, somebody bought me that for Christmas, so I kind of keep things in here and they're not in there. I can't believe where I've put them. I used my old Derwent and the old little pencil sharpener. They were right next to me, exactly where I put them. So these were sharpened with that system, although I don't take it the whole way. This is the Coombe automatic long point, and you put your pencil in the number 1 and it takes all the wood off, and then you put the pencil in number 2 and it makes a very long point, and it does a lot longer than that, but I didn't take it as far. So this is the original Graphitint, and they're 1 to 12, and I thought these were the same. Now maybe they are, but they've been called something different. But let me just get my act together, because I hadn't opened them, so I hadn't realized. So they're not numbered. Now that's going to be really good, because they couldn't get a yellow or a pink. So I've got a copper number 85, which I think would be the sunset. So maybe they've just renamed them. Yeah, they have, because I'll do a colour swatch difference actually. Something might be interesting, because I don't know if anybody else got the metallic paints. I've been a bit slow on the uptake. They've been out a while. I would think the Graphitint are the same. Let me just double check. Are these the Graphitint? I think I might be losing my mind. No, they are definitely metallic. If we look at the, yeah, I wonder if that was the one that was, no, that is purple. So maybe we are right. They brought out the metallic 12 quite a number of years ago. So I'll do a bit of a comparison with that one in a second. I'm pretty sure these are the same. Yes, slate green, ocean blue, Graphitint, port and juniper. Yeah, because you couldn't get a bright pink. So we've got a pinky one is the juniper, and the orange red, like the orangier red that I wanted is the port. And then the autumn one is kind of a reddy brown. So they are the same colors as the Graphitint. And again, there's 12 in that set as well. So you can still get the pencils. I don't know how they're going to work. Obviously a lot better for here than using them on my watercolor. Which I have no idea where it is. I thought I had everything out. Anyway, when the Derwent brought out the Inktense block paints, I put my set here. So I may be doing the same with that. I have quite a few of traditional sets, and it means you can get a long watercolor in. Again, I love the old-fashioned Derwent #1 water brush. It's really, really nice. And apart from Bible journaling, I use the same sponge. You dry it, and then when you've used it, you get hardly any water, just a tiny, barely damp. And it works with every kind of color book, no matter how thin, except for Bible journaling. So obviously in this little set here, I have, and I must have dropped that one, I have all my Derwent watercolors. I have all my Derwent watercolors, the Inktense blocks that come in these little sets here, set 1 and 2, I have put in there. And if you want to then mix the colors, as you can see, there's some really beautiful colors there, and I've got that because of course there's only 24. They're very vibrant because they're the Inktense. A little color swatch, but then you can mix them as well. Oh, hi Jessica, welcome to Bunny Designs. Anybody else popping in? So that's that, which, as I say, I will be doing hopefully to go onto that set there. So the last things, and I bought, say, this particular one here because there's something, again, supposedly, but didn't quite work for me, of buying a new color book. Because if you have a new color book, it kind of gets you going again. And I've had quite a few kickstarts and nothing's happened. So because I thought about the journaling, I use my little fingers a lot. You find when you lose your thumbs, you gain 2 little fingers. I've decided, I've seen a picture, I think it's not this, on the actual website, it shows that there is this particular set that sits in the plastic pocket, and then I've got the paintbrushes and things behind. So I thought, well, I might be able to get both in there, and then I've got like another little pouch that I can say, can you go get this thing because it's got such and such in it, because I do rely on hubby on everything at the moment. So I do have a set of the liners. These I bought lots and lots of years ago, and I'm not sure where they stick. See, drop the tea then. As you can see, I did these about a year ago, and it's still tacky. Still tacky in there somewhere. In there somewhere should be quite a lot. And I squeezed, yeah, the bit tacky. And this is because these are Sienna, I think. Oh, these are Derwents. I can't remember. Winsor Newton. If you get very, very, very good quality, there's a lot less binder, which in watercolor is gum arabic, but it's a lot more pigment, and it takes forever for them to dry. So I have made these to go into my color book, and I would only like what I call touch and go. It's just touch and go, and it's for coloring. It's not for doing a painting, it's for coloring. But the touch and go system is for if you've got really poorly hands, you flip this over and you just use your little brush. If I can get my watercolor brush out, I don't know what I've done with it now. And it's touch and color, and it goes from the darkest to the lightest, so you can get a kind of lovely gradient, and you're not coloring in with pencils and gripping hard, and you stroking the page. And that's what most of my videos are, is what I call the touch and go system. And the more colors you have like this, so if you've got lots and lots of watercolors, if you squeeze a little bit out and then put them to dry and then do a little watercolor color swatch and name it, because when that's all gone, now this is the only watercolor that I use. These are the watercolor postcards. They're quite thick, and that's the only one where I will use watercolor, because I want it to sit on top, and I want it will soak through. As you can see, it's really soaked in, but that means that's quite sturdy. If I did it on my my other pages, any other water-based pencil, if it's good quality, you can make a watercolor book like this. And this is photocopy paper for the actual sheet to make the page. Oh, sorry guys. And then this is extra wet sketchbook paper. Dried pencil, scratched about 3 layers. And if you see dust, you know you're doing too much. You can see just all the angle there. Some, it's the pigment. These are the Derwents. They've got such really strong pigments. They're very expensive, but they are amazing. And you can make your own watercolor travel sets. And my little book was about twice as thick as this. And I had nearly, I think I had 650 colors. And every color could be mixed, or it could be just a straight color of a gradient. So every color gets 10 shades. So I had 6,000 colors in one book. Now, because of my arthritis, I've had to slim them down. And as I say, the one I use in the, there is the Graphitint. There's the Graphitint. So this Graphitint, I now have it in pencil form. I have it in the, oh gosh, my hands will not open, I don't think. Yeah, I have it in paint form. And I've scratched this with the pencil, 3 layers. There's quite a few videos of me doing this. And you can see the pencil and you can see where I've used it. And when you've used it, you've got to let it dry. But then you just scratch over the top. So one evening when you're watching TV, and there's a couple of videos of me revamping my Derwent watercolor. And I've done the Derwent wash pencils. Again, you can see that's there. I've got a couple of Albert Dürer, anything that was water based, anything I could find a paintbrush on a pencil, it went in this book. And again, you know, beautiful color that I could use for something. That's a burnt ink one, burnt orange. And then this is the, what's that one? This is the Prismalo, burnt umber, Prismalo number 9, cool brown storm. They sound like the Graphitint. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There must be 24 then. They may be bringing out a set 2 of this, because there's 24 in the Graphitint, but I think there's only 12 in the metallic pencils. There's only 12, but these have been out quite a while. And again, the pencils are amazing. If you look at all these beautiful tones, muted tones that you can get. But the Storm and the Pot, they're the pinkiest ones you can get. But quite amazing if you're doing a painting just to be a bit different. So if I missed anybody off, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope everybody's plodding along quite well. I'll put that back in there because that's the Bible journal one. As I say, if you do flick onto the Inktense, it will show through on a Bible page quite well. So there's quite a few things that if you've got already, you can make a little book, and then you can leave the precious pencils, the crayons, the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s. You can leave all those at home because you can take your thin little book and you've still got thousands of colors, and you can take them to the beach, to the sand, anywhere you want to go. And I'm pretty sure that these are drying. This is the full set that I've done. It says W and N, so that's Winsor & Newton. Yeah, W and N, I can't read. That's the Cotman. I think these were the tubes, and as I came to the tubes, I put them in color order. But you know that, and you can, I bet that was still, yeah, that's still tacky, and it's probably nearly 18 months since I did that. And it's all because some of them are very hard. It's to do with the pigment, because all the pigments are different. And there's one other, and yeah, and they've all dried now. The greens and the blues. Oh yeah, it's still tacky, that one. The greens and the blues dry the fastest, and the browns, they're more earthy. But when you start to get to these colors, it's because of the pigment. They've all got the same binder. They're all Winsor & Newton, most of them Winsor & Newton. I think I've put an Odd Reeves one in, a vintage one, because it's such an amazing color. I've decided I want that in there. And again, I wouldn't use these when I'm doing watercolors, but I don't often paint now. But if I'm coloring in, these are amazing because it's the touch and go system. And as long as you have a bit of plastic like this in between, so I can, oh, sorry, I'd have one there, and then I'd have one there, and then I'd open that to there. That would protect that one, and then I'd have one there. And I use little photo. These are A6, which are 4x6, I think, and they're a normal postcard photograph size. The only reason I use these is only for the watercolors. If I'm squeezing watercolor out of a tube, I will use these watercolor postcards, Aquafine, 300 GSM, 140 pound, acid free. And as you can see, the different pigments have reacted differently on the back. All the others are on extra wet sketchbook paper. If you use the pencil on this kind of paper, it will sink through, it will soak through, because as you can see, it's a watercolor paper. So you mustn't use it for the other pencils, any water-based pencil or crayon, because watercolor paper is designed for the water and the paint to suck up. And we don't want it to suck up, we want it to sit on top. But because there are different elements and minerals and oils in watercolors, you need to sit them on top, and they will soak as they dry. But as I say, I think they're about, I found mine for £3, but I think they're £5 to £6 now. You get about 6 or 7 postcards, but or you can cut up a piece of paper, because I think it's worth it to have professional watercolors in your little watercolor set. I mean, these are just amazing, these beautiful colors. If you bought 6 colors, you can mix them. I've got lots and lots of videos about doing things. So as I say, apart from that one, these are, and the browns, because they have the red in, of course, that works well. So while I've got this art pack out, I can put those back up there. They have been drying. I do have, if I move that light out of the way, this is, I've got them all in the right place. This was the new one that I was making that I didn't finish, and that's the original one. But and this is the new squares, but obviously I've not been able to cut and stick and glue. And these are bigger squares to last me longer. But one of the lots and lots of colours in. This is the original one that has the Derwent Inktense blocks. It has the Derwent watercolors, and you label them and do a little color swatch down. I've got just ordinary graphite watercolor Derwent Graphites. Then they look like the Neocolor 2s. So if you can see the crayoning, and they do change a bit, because some of the older ones they don't do anymore, but they're so pigmented at the Derwent, the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s. And I think I have 100 and some of those, because I've got some obscure ones like the golds and the simples, the singles I don't do anymore. So and I've tried to put them in kind of same order. And again, when you get too much, you make sure that it's dried. And this is only extra wet sketchbook paper. You need the extra wet sketchbook paper. It's still cheap and cheerful, and you can buy a big sketchbook of it, and then you can cut a few sheets out of the middle and still have your sketchbook, because I'm a tight Yorkshire lass. That's been in there 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years. The original one that I showed you with the little strips, that's the one I did when I first made videos, probably 7 years ago, I think. So they do last. That one looks, I can't read it upside down, pencils. Then I've got the peerless watercolors. Now I have a new set of those. These are my originals, so they're looking a little bit dilapidated. and I'd love another set. So actually, I've reminded me again. If anybody's seen the peacocks that I've done, and some quite a few of Kirby's, these beautiful colors, and this is again the touch and go system. Tiniest little dot you can see, and the color will go on forever. They were my original ones, and you got a free set of the hair colors, which are the end ones. I'd got the Caran d'Ache. I'd got a set of Caran d'Ache watercolor pencils. I put those in there, but as you see, they're not quite as waxy as the Derwents. They're still very, very good though. Then I did, and I've just found the silver one here. I've just found this is missing. These are Gansai Tambi watercolors. When they first came out, I loved them, but every time I opened the blooming tin, they all fell out, and they come in like a chocolate box. So I decided, again, sketchbook paper, to put them in, and that's what gave me the idea first of all this, because I've got all the, and again, they are really vivid and beautiful watercolors, and they're all in there, and there should be a set of black ones, or dark grey ones, but I don't know where they've gone now, so I'll put that one in there. There's also a gold and a silver, and you can see it's shiny. Look, it's the gold and silver. I don't think I have the Gansai Tambi handy, and the reason is because I haven't a hair. I've got them here. I have a hair bubble. I have a hair bubble, if in case you're wondering, and they're beautiful. Now you will see there is a little tiny. Okay, so hold them without dropping them. There's a little tiny circle. See if I can catch. See if I can see one that I can definitely see. And what I did is I did wet the whole lot, and I did this years and years and years ago. I wet the whole lot. Got a brush and squeezed it. And when I say a brush, I mean something like this. So really lathered it up, and then picked it up, and then squeezed it out. And I got bars, squeezed it out. And you probably see about 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But there's tons of color on there. Oh, sorry guys, my fingers. There's tons of color on there, and again, depending on the pigment, some had more than others. See that one there? You can see it's a big fat puddle, and I've used these for quite a few color pages, and they still work really well. And I do love these colors, but I cannot bear this, because every time, especially now, every time I pick it up, they fell out. Now I know some people stuck them in, but I kind of and I've used them so many times, and yet I've never touched them. In fact, that one's cracked. Look, maybe I better start using them, maybe. And I normally have a large elastic band around there, because every time I pick these up, they ended up on the floor, which drove me insane. I don't know what's in this one. Now this one is the Derwent. I think this was for the Bible journaling. I've done some more squares again to separate them, so that I didn't ever get. I think this is the one that's supposed to be for Bible journaling. This one, and I decided that I needed to put all these things back in the same place. This is the original one. I broke the spine to make it fatter. And this is the Peerless. I put drops of Peerless, and it doesn't really get messy. It looks messy, but it doesn't matter where you touch on there. You end up with really bright colors. I decided that I wanted to try and get 10,000 colors, so all the Peerless are in there as well. Sorry, not the Peerless, beg your pardon. What do we call them? The Hydrus watercolors. They are very, very vibrant as well. So that was my original one, and I just cut the plastic up very rough, put little tabs on, and then I realized that it was really quite tacky, so I decided to make another one. And what I use, which are quite universal, are the paper chase. It's a paper chase. I think it takes 4x6 photographs, and they're about £1.50. And you could label them and do what you want. This one I've cut up. This is an old vintage. Again, the vintage ones are quite nice because the plastic is really good quality. So sometimes it's nice to just kind of use what you've got. I tested every single pencil that was water-based that I possibly could. And here is another section of that original one. That's my Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s. That was my first attempt. And then I just tried all the colors, and it was brilliant. It worked brilliantly. I took that with me, and one sketchbook and one watercolor brush. And when you want to color for therapy, you want to be simple. I've got all sorts of, these are all the ones. As I say, I did literally try everything. And I messed up and cut more things from everywhere else. These are watercolors. I can't remember which one this is, but they're very creamy, but and they almost come off. They may even be the Neocolor 2s, my first set. I have quite a few pastels, as in pastel, for pasteling, and they're not fixed because obviously I don't want to fix them. So again, I've used that. Very messy, but as long as you put it between two pieces of plastic, it's fine. So you could put it between plastic and have all these beautiful colors, because again, pastels have more pigment. There's more pigment and less binder. That was my first attempt with the Neocolor 2s, and you can keep going with these for quite a while, these colors. An extra wet sketchbook, big squares, little squares, however you want to use it. And it might take you, like me, a couple of goes before you get it as you want it. But again, I used to have a lovely hair bubble and nearly 10,000 colors, and that's just touch and go. Each plastic page, you can mix colors as long as you make sure it's dried and cleaned before you shut it, because you'll contaminate the one behind it. But yeah, and flick. So I might use a Derwent Pink, and I might use a Peerless Blue, and I might use a Caran d'Ache Green. I might use an Inktense pencil, yellow. And there's no way you can have all these out. I once did it, and it's impossible on 2 desks to get all these products in their natural state out, because you can't reach any of them. And yet here it's a flip and go. And it's also a good way of knowing what you've got as well. So sorry about the waffle about my little book, but it's really good. And again, I've found exceptionally, especially either if your hands aren't brilliant, but especially if with the COVID thing and with being a little bit stressed and having like 30 seconds or just to sit for 2 minutes, we don't want to be messing about getting our paints out. This one, I mean, I used to take that to hospital, open it up, and I'll be colouring. They call my name and I shut it. And the little bit of wet paint that I've touched will touch the plastic. It won't go on any other colour. It'll just stay where it is. So you can do it, and it doesn't matter if you're called for the hospital or anything. It's instant. And if the children come in and it's tea time, you can just shut it. And this system will work with this as well. So if you've got tubes of watercolor paint, and yes, we love our expensive watercolor paints for when we're doing our artwork, But there's no reason to say that if you just want to colour, you can't use really good products. And sorry, bang on about being a tight Yorkshire lass, but let's use what we've got rather than do nothing. I haven't opened this. I don't think I'll be able to open this actually now I've bought it. Yeah, they show the picture of this into there, and then those pencils there. So yeah, it might work. Can't bury that because I need that in a minute. So sorry about the waffle, guys. This is what I do, and I get slated for it, and I just can't help it. So years ago, I bought the Derwent Graphic, and these pens are not used how I used them, but I loved making a blob on a plate and then using it and using all the colour up and then making another blob. They are designed to blob, but they're designed to kind of make a mess and be splashy, and for artists with water. They've probably dried up. Oh my, don't say they've dried up. I bet they have. Yeah, they've all dried up. That is so sad. Oh, they might not have done. Nope, they're all right. They just need a shake. If you do buy these, you do need to shake them. Now I'll have to get hubby to shake those. And now they've brought out these other pens. Oops. They've brought out the Derwent line markers. And I hadn't thought about colouring. So with my hands being poorly, I thought, well, I have to forget this. So I've bought these Derwent line markers, and they may end up for my daughters, because my daughters do some absolutely stunning work, and Samantha's been doing some absolutely amazing work. She sits there with her little phone and draws these amazing pictures. I try and put some up. Actually, she's done the Selby Abbey, and she's done a few other abbeys where she's been about. So, but really good. I'm going to take these out. Oh, somebody's looked in there. Look, that's broken open. Let me have a look. I hope not. I don't know what these are like. I don't know if we don't shake them. They're for drawing. Yes, it's just like a fine liner. But what I just thought it might inspire me to do my mushrooms, but do them in colour. So I'm going to take them out of the box. I can't do that because I need to. They only came a couple of days ago, so I've got black and grey. So they're different sizes. And I've made a mistake because I do actually have some of these. Is there just 3 in there? Yeah. I do have some of these, but these are 0.1, 0.5, and 0.3. And then that's the greys. Is that the grey one? I'm not going to keep the boxes, guys. And then this one is a sepia colour. And I just at 3 o'clock in the morning pressed the whole lot like you do, and decided that I wanted all of them, then realised I probably got most of them. But never mind. So we've got the sepia colours, the greys, the darks, and then they do 6 colours. And I just thought that might inspire me to draw my mushroom pages again, because I might want to try and draw again, but I might have to draw like that. But the thing is, I think sometimes you just have to adapt and not give up, which is what I did. So that's my little haul. Get rid of those. I'm going to put those somewhere, and I'm going to go wash my hands, guys, because these have only just come to post. Oh, I missed it. Oh, goodness me. Nearly threw one away then. Should be 6 of those. Yes, there's 6 of those, 3 of those, 3 of those, and 6 of those. 2, 4, 6. They are a bit pricey, but I've kind of not really. I'm just going to put those behind that. Not really done much for a long time, so I think sometimes you just have to do that. Now I'm going to do a comparison with these because I'm confused. doesn't take much to confuse me. So we know that the Derwent Graphite Tint are the same, but we don't know that the Derwent Metallic is the same. So and I've touched this now. So in theory, they will be bringing out another 12 because there's 24 in this set. So I shall try and do a comparison with my 12 pencils. I said, have you got any questions, guys? Thanks for stopping by. Hope everybody's plodding along as we need to do. I just had to go wash my hands, guys. I haven't got Ken Dodd's feather stick. I usually put Ken Dodd's feather stick, which means I haven't frozen. I'm just trying to think what I've got. I don't even know where it is. Bear with me. I'll just go get the feather stick. I'm a lot slower than I was. Sorry guys, it's feeding time at the zoo, so there'll be a lot of barking, and then I might ask if Alfie could bub along. Right. Now I have found, I'll just move these to the side there. I have to put them on the floor, I think. I was telling you about the Derwent graphic pens were very inky, and I started with the inky. This was the practice, which is the Joanna Basford's butterfly, and these are the beautiful colors if you use them sparingly as a water based. So I got some really nice colors out of those pens. I'm not sure if the Derwent line ones are waterproof, but the other ones are quite inky. So I wanted to show you the Christmas one. I think this is the new one that I was going to do last year, and I've missed a Christmas. I can't believe it. So when we talked about the Derwent Graphite Tint pencils in my Derwent watercolor book, that's what I used. So they're quite lovely muted colors, and this is 2 years ago, I think, which maybe even 3 years ago now. And I didn't I don't do backgrounds, or I didn't do backgrounds because it dampens the page more, because I always work in a wet medium, because I've never really been able to use pencils. And obviously you don't want to be wetting a big area because it crinkles your page. I'll turn the light away. Sorry guys. So if you can see, it's beautifully flat, really flat. So that was there's a video on that one. It's the Joanna Basford. And what I used to fill the background is I used these original drawings of hers and I traced them. Now, the first time I tried to draw, because I'm supposed to be I'm supposed to be able to draw, and I failed abysmally. Was it this one? If you can see, these are a bit wonky. This one, absolutely abysmal. Really bad. But again, I wanted, and I can show you what it looks like originally. That's another one that I started, and I started doing that with the pencils. But so again, I've copied from somewhere else the colours and filled that one in. That's the one I did with the robin. That's what the deer should look like. And as I say, didn't like the gaps, so I traced these and inverted them and reversed them, and then put some stickles on the body, and then the gramophone. I did the same with the gramophone pink. That was my attempt with pencils, and I thought I used the Derwent watercolor pencils, but I used them as a pencil, so there's no water, it's just a pencil and a bit of blending, but it doesn't agree with my hands, unfortunately. I can't find, there's the gramophone. So if I do that, you can see again, didn't like the spaces, so just reversed it and did that one. And the hobby horse as well. Hobby horse. I think there's not many more I did. The bunny. So you don't have to, even if you can't draw, it's probably better that you can't, because Joanna Basford is actually right-handed and I'm left-handed, so every curl she did, I wanted to curl it the wrong way around and it didn't look good. And as the original is hers anyway, then I just traced it. So that was the hobby horse. Oh, so I didn't do much to the hobby horse, did I? No, I didn't do anything to the hobby horse. No, that's just a surprise. That was using the Graphites as a pencil to get some really darks, but it's the scrubbing with a paintbrush that I find very difficult. So the little robin, I think that's another one that I did a better job of that one actually this time. I think I did a better job. So again, that was the robin. And still using all her beautiful things to trace them, turn them round or reverse them, and they all look like Joanna's drawn them, because technically, you know, she has. I've just traced them. I think that's the one I did leave on its own, actually, that one. I think I did leave that one on its own. Yeah, that's the one that's on its own. And I only bought the second one because there's a tight Yorkshire lass. It came up a bit cheaper the second time around. So as you can see, I decided that some of it I'd made the right thing. I decided to do it by hand and made a pig's ear of it. So if it's somebody else's colour book, it's a lot better to actually use their their original drawings, but I did put this, I've got some stickles, so it was nice to use some of my other things that I'd had for the drawings, again filling in again because hers weren't as full of that, just because I didn't want to do a background because it would get wet. Oh, hi Samantha, welcome to Bunny Designs. I was telling everybody about your beautiful drawings. If you'd like to bring your sketchbook up, we'll have a quick show and tell because they're amazing, your drawings. You should bring out a colour book. This was the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s that I did with the Neocolor 2s, and I scratched 3 complementary colours together and then blended them backwards. And you make, with a green you make a red dull, and with the red you make a green dull, and it worked quite well because I never thought I would use these colors. Now this one I've made all the grays, there's a video on this to make your grungy colors, and when I saw this page I thought, yes, I do love all the others, but I'll never do this because they are not my thing. They are metal, mechanical, not my thing. And actually I really love doing these and love making the grays. And the reason I brought this is to show, again, you might want to do really bright colors. They're professional watercolors. These are the cheaper Winsor & Newton Cotman set. Again, watercolors. This is the Derwent watercolor pencils, scratching and then manipulating with a damp brush. This is the Derwent Inktense pencils, scratching a bit, manipulating with a brush. And I always say that if I could only have one thing, it would be the Derwent watercolor pencils, because the Inktense are amazing, but the watercolor ones, you still get some beautiful vibrant colors. There's Peerless and Hydrus. I did start again that, but you scratch a bit of color, and I'm really cross myself because I waited so long, because I love that page and I've waited so long to color it, started it, and I can't remember what I did. So I may have to go watch my own videos. Again, the grunge Derwent watercolors, and again what you do is you scratch a little bit of, you can touch a little bit of color and manipulate it to disappear, and then the other way, full color and make it disappear, so you get your highlights. And they work in the opposite way to the chameleons, because the chameleons, you have light and then you make them darker. If you use the rigger, you get the color on and then you make it go pale, and the color on and make it go pale, and you can get some beautiful effects with hair with that as well. I think this is one of the first color books I ever bought, actually. I think, again, I love using watercolors, just touch and go, so easy. All these there are videos on, and then when the video stops I don't go back. Not sure why, but it's just one of those things. I was having a spot of bother and getting a bigger blob with those graphic pens from Derwent, and I ended up with a big blob of purple and then used it as a single tone. And then for some reason I never got on with this book. I think it's because of the backgrounds, and so every time I made a blob I colored it in one tone, so that's just one color. I think there's about 6 of those, if I remember right. There's about 6. Really love doing that with the Derwent pencils, but can't remember how I did it. It's a water-based one. It's with a brush. It's not used with a pencil because I can't do that. My hands will not allow me to do that. I think it's one of the other colour books that I did used, because she's got crowns and things, because the colours. trying to find that one. Sorry guys, I'm getting confused now. This is the other reason when you're confused. When you're confused, can't really make videos because you really don't know what you're talking about. That's the peerless watercolors and the hydrous. So when you want to do some really bright colors and they're in that book, you can touch and go, and you know, really do some very, very bright, beautiful colors. And they're very, very strong. So a little bit on a damp brush and manipulate it, a little bit of damp brush and manipulate it. And there are videos on all these, but if you start with a very dark color, you can I wonder if this is where's the horse gone? I don't think the horse is on that one. So the one that I really have a like to, I think it's the Phantom View, is it? I think it's this one. And everybody's heard the tale. Sorry guys, everybody's heard the tale. I was going to do a comparison between Peerless and Inktense on that one. This is the one that I did in the hospital with the touch and go system, and these are the actual things I used. Find that little paintbrush. So I had my Peerless, which I don't know where it's gone now. Peerless somewhere. The little Peerless watercolors, the little strips that I'd cut off them because they come in strips. And hubby'd had a stroke and was in hospital, and I sat and held his hand. But I needed to keep calm, but obviously couldn't read or do anything. So I sat in the wheelchair with the watercolor brush, the Derwent #1 watercolor brush, the little book of watercolors, and I could flip quietly in 3 pages, hold his hand and color. And that kept me really calm. And that's when I realized that this keeps people calm. If you're feeling a little bit of stress, just do some, not when I say mindless, I don't mean mindless as such. I mean, don't think about colors too much, because obviously I know roses are red and we've got green leaves. And I used 2 colors. I used one red and I used one green. And I touched the Peerless very strong and do a dark area. And then I go somewhere else and do another bit, go somewhere else and do another bit. And then when it got paler, I'd come back and do another bit. And then I'd go back and do another bit. And then I'd come back. And so eventually it looks like I really thought about it. But all I was doing was moving away from a dark area until it got paler and then coming back. And it kept me very, very calm. And I'm sorry I bang on about that, but it really worked. It really worked. You had to be silent on the ward, so there was no rattling of pencils, no getting your pen out. Even these, none of these, getting these out, because it would make a noise, because obviously everybody was in the same boat. But I had to keep calm, and I just could not read. So I just held up his hand and one-handed just coloured just calmly for a few hours. And it did keep me very, very calm. The nurses came and everybody was coming to ask me what I was doing, because they couldn't believe I was so calm. And it's probably the little brush that I used, because it did go green, but it's still extremely clean now. Once you stain them though, they do stain, but they never ever run. What you can't do is use ordinary paint and scrub, because that will go in the channel. This one is just, when you've got the color, you just touch and go and touch and go, and it works quite well. So I waffled for a bit there. I'm not sure about the other books, what I've done. I'll have a quick look. I've made notes of what they should be. Now, what's that one? That's another very pale one. sometimes you're in a pale mood and sometimes you're in a darker mood. So I'm having to make notes on things now. But again, you can tell this is the chameleon markers. Now, this particular book of Kirby's is single-sided, the Phantomorphia one. So I used my chameleon pens, and I've done 2 versions of these. That's Phantomorphia. So that's chameleon pens full strength, because of course we can do that because it's only single-sided. And oh, sorry. Oh, I must have bought it again. You see, you lose your marbles and you've lost your marbles forever. Oh, I've done another pumpkin. I'm sure I've done another pumpkin. Yes, I have. There we go. Look, I've done another pumpkin somewhere. There's the other pumpkin. So sometimes when you buy it, when you like it and it comes again and it's a little bit cheaper, you can do another one. And of course, this works well because you don't go across. I don't know what I used there. It looks like Peerless. I recognise the colours. And then this was again using the chameleons, but using the chameleon pens with the highlighter. So starting light and going into dark, starting light, going into dark. And you can get some lovely effects with that as well. So I do love the markers, but I must start using them actually. But again, it will go through your paper. But I think I like just the touch and go system because it's quite gentle and it's quiet as well. If you're rattling pens and things, it gets a little bit. I think I've done the other one on here. There's another couple that I've started, I think. This one I did on the ferry. There is a video, but it's a silent one. And I did that on the ferry going to Ireland, and I quite enjoyed that. And again, touch and go system, which I like. So I was hoping to get an Alfie, but we haven't got an Alfie. I think that one I did pale, and this one I did really bright in the Peerless. The Peerless and the Hydrus, you can start really dark, and that looks like Peerless actually. They are Peerless. I can tell there's one called Butterfly and one called there's Butterfly, and the pink one is my favorite, and I forgot what it's called now. Geranium Pink, and I just love Geranium Pink. It looks a bit salmony on there, but again, I love the Peerless because it's really the touch and go system. You can see what you're doing, you touch it and you're off, and that's the easiest way to do, and it doesn't make your hands hurt either. Has anybody got any questions? I think what I'm going to do, I've waffled a bit, guys, and I thought I might do. I was hoping I wouldn't, but what I might do is I'll stop the video and then I'll start another one, and I'll do a little bit in these books and do a comparison between the Derwent Inktense pencils and the 12 Inktense. They look very similar. This was called, that one's called lemon. Where's the other green one? There's another green one. What's that one called? Yeah, it's called green. Well, I think that's lime. So either they are the same or they're going to be completely different, but I do a bit of a color thing, but I'll do that on the next video. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope it's wonderful to see everybody or hear everybody, and I'll hope to try and make some more videos and try and inspire anybody else to just plod along, because I think we got to plod, haven't we? It's bad enough being disabled and plodding, but now even able-bodied are plodding and trying to keep going. So I think so thanks for stopping by, guys. I have a lovely afternoon or morning, depending on where you are. And thanks for watching. If anybody wants to see anything of the old videos, because I forget what I've done, and I've now linked the channel back up again where I was missing everybody speaking. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll come back and do it, but I don't think I'll be using that brush really, because you've got to put it together, and I'm not really into that. So I will be transferring these into a traditional watercolor tin just because it's easy. And then I'm going to have a bit of play with these, and again, you see I find it difficult opening this, so I'll have a bit of a play with this new set as well, and probably do the clock. There is a lovely cuckoo clock here. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Have a lovely afternoon. Oh, thank you, Robin. Thank you everybody for stopping by. Thank you for making me feel better. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for stopping by. To find my magic little mouse now. Everything's new and in the wrong place. So thanks, guys. Love to everybody.